new low. New low. Folks, you do not hate the mainstream media enough. Just when you thought the media couldn't get any worse, any less connected to reality, they do it again.
We've seen thousands of supporters show up for the new Democratic ticket since their debut last Tuesday in Philadelphia. Wow, what a difference
look at those numbers. I mean, Mika, look at the numbers. I mean, the Philadelphia event, I remember when we that first came out, it seems like 2 weeks ago, doesn't it? And you saw it was so huge, and then the Wisconsin seemed to be even bigger. Detroit was mammoth.
You can barely hear them through the boat. I mean, look, where the hell have these people been while Trump has been turning up? 140,000 people in New Jersey, 20,000 people impromptu in the Bronx. It's like whenever Kamala Harris needs a breath for her sales, someone lifts up a rock and out pops Joe Scarborough in Botox for 11 minutes to opine, and then he goes back into the hole. I heard this over the weekend. I almost shot my TV.
We know our immigration system is broken, and we know what it takes to fix it.
You were in charge of it for 4 years. What do you mean it's broken? You just admitted to not doing your job. And when I hear her say this.
Because while our economy is doing well by many measures, prices for everyday things like groceries are still too high. You know it and I know it.
Thank you, Copernicus. I mean, who here would like to know why? She's right here. Look, her own tweet. I was proud to cast the tie-breaking vote to pass our Inflation Reduction Act that increased inflation by 9% that year alone. Forget names, folks. Forget political parties. Forget all the other noise. Just for like half a second, humor me here. Imagine you own a company, because that's what this country is. Essentially, it's a company, and you have to hire a CEO. A president. Now, after a grueling process, the primaries, you narrowed it down to 2 people. Now we have a general election. One was actually your CEO 4 years ago, and you hired him then because he was the CEO of another successful company before that. And 4 years ago, you had record revenues. People got raises, and he got rid of bad regulations that hurt your bottom line. Sure, he said a few things that offended your competitors, but overall, you had the best numbers your company had ever seen. He even made some of your competitors like you and work with your company. And the other, actually, come to think of it, she actually interviewed a few years back and didn't even make the top 10 candidates for the job. If you remember, it was like 1%. Because when she was the CEO of a much smaller company when she was a DA, they had a bunch of corruption charges and recalled a bunch of their products or their trials. You also saw that she was on the board of another company as a senator. That is one of the worst places in the nation with the worst retention of its customers or residents. And now she wants to be your CEO, but she can't tell you a single way she's going to make your life or your company any better. She just keeps telling you she's going to move you forward and we're going to expand opportunity. Who do you choose? Again, forget political parties here. Who do you choose? Forget the names of the candidates. You, the owner of the company, because that's what we are. We, the people, are the owners of America, and we are hiring a CEO that is of, by, and for us, allegedly. Now, if your company, if your bottom line, if your profits and your livelihood are on the line, which of the 2 CEOs do you hire, folks? Don't listen to the media. Don't listen to the noise. Just think about it for a second. The woman is vying for your CEO right now. She doesn't have a single policy on her website. Not one. When you go there, and it's just this broad generality of, let's win this. There's a donation thing that pops up right away. There's a Meet Kamala tab. There's a Meet Tim Walz tab. There's another donation tab. And there's an events one, none of which include any of her rallies on them. There's actually a store where you can buy merch. And to this day, folks, I live in the tri-state area. I am in Deep Blue, Connecticut, and New York. I have never seen any one person wear that in public ever. Go to Trump's page. You'll see this. There's a home screen with a message from him. And with one click, all of his policies are like right there in front of you. It's a stark difference, folks. And the one policy Kamala Harris did come up with this weekend is Trump's policy.
Because when I get to office, we are going to not charge taxes on tips, people making tips. No tax on tips. I'm also doing no tax on tips.
And eliminate on tips for service and hospitality workers.
Trump is bad. And then she goes and copies his policies. Yes, any half-brained person is wondering the same thing as you and I are right now. Why would anybody hire or vote for this person? Well, partly because over half the country is so busy trying to make ends meet, ironically a product of Kamala in the first place, that they don't have time to go look at all the news out there. They're being force-fed stuff like this with a glowing cover where she rode in on a chariot with Jesus almost. Meanwhile, they make Trump look like a melting emoji. The average person right now catches, I don't know, like 5 minutes of MSNBC or CNN in the airport. Maybe they catch the cover of the New York Times while they're waiting for their sandwich to be made at a deli so they can go to their second job. That's most of America right now. So when Kamala Harris says, I'm not going to tax tips, and then 90% of the media just peddles it as her policy, not Trump's, no wonder half of America believes it. I mean, never mind the fact that Kamala Harris, the vice president, was the one that hired 80,000 more IRS agents to audit the same people who live off their tips. The same thing with the very fine people comment. To this day, people in America still don't know the second half of that sentence that Trump actually said that, and I'm not talking about the neo-Nazis, they should be condemned totally. 25% of America still 6-7 years later has no idea that Trump said that because the same dishonest reporting. And no wonder she's trying to duck out of her debates. In fact, she was asked about the 3 debates that Trump agreed to this weekend.
Madam Vice President, Donald Trump agreed to 3 debates. Will you be participating in all 3?
I've always been on record. I am looking forward to debating Donald Trump, and we have a date of September 10th. I hear he is finally committed to it. I'm looking forward.
What about the other 2?
Let's make sure we get this photo of everyone. Look right here, right there.
Whoa, hold on. You see that right there at the end? Play that last part one more time.
The 2?
Let's make sure we get this photo of everyone. Look right here.
She was surrounded with people so that when she's asked that question that her handlers don't want to answer, that woman in the back with the camera, she swoops in, and instead of saying, no, you're done, no more questions, they have people like that just say, hey, let's get this picture over here, and they pull her over, they pull her away from who's ever asking her an actual question. It's just basically a nice way of a reporter, getting them out of the blue and giving them the middle finger. That's why she doesn't have policies on her website. That's why she won't do a debate with anyone other than a friendly media network. That's why for over 3 weeks, her campaign, she has not done a press conference or any meaningful Q&A. This woman stands for nothing. They have to pay people to put stuff out in favor of her on social media, and they got caught. She probably doesn't know what she says even. I don't even think she actually is in charge of the words coming out of her mouth. Again, what CEO do you want running your bottom line?